for fire suppression efforts, recovery efforts to deal with disasters like post-fire floods, economic assistance for those who have been displaced, and assistance to landowners for emergency repairs to infrastructure. These are crucial steps in the fight against wildfires and the protection of our rural communities. I want to thank Speaker Bowers, Senate President Karen Fann, Senate President Pro Temp Vince Leach, Senate Minority Leader Rebecca Rios, and House Minority Leader Reginald Boulding for your leadership, for your partnership, and for your commitment to this issue. We all met last week, and we had a great discussion around the details of this plan. I'm grateful that we were able to quickly come together in a bipartisan manner for the safety and protection of Arizona communities. I also want to thank Senator Sina Kerr and Senator Gail Griffin, the sponsors of this legislation, for their leadership on this issue. You both have worked tirelessly to build up Arizona's investments in natural resources, and I'm grateful for your advocacy. I also want to recognize the local leaders and state agency leadership who are helping support our rural communities, including Adjutant General Kerry Muhlenbach, Gila County Supervisor Steve Christensen, Director Alan Clark from the Division of Emergency Management, Director Dave Tenney from the Department of Forestry and Fire Management, John Truitt from DFFM, and all the dedicated local emergency managers guiding the towns and counties through the fires and the upcoming recovery. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't also recognize all the brave men and women who work tirelessly to fight wildfires and help our communities weather this storm. They came from all over Arizona to fight these fires from the ground to the air. They put their lives on the line each and every day to protect us, and on behalf of the entire state, thank you. We are grateful. Now I'd like to introduce Speaker Rusty Bowers to share a few words on how this legislation will impact his community. I want to thank Rusty again for his leadership on this issue and welcome him to the podium. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Governor. I am reminded of a little saying my mom has repeated. Use things and love people and don't get them backwards. And how when ours and other homes have been destroyed and you look over your what were possessions that represent memories, I still have the memories, I just don't have the things. And the people that were associated with them, like these people, are the people that we love. And we're grateful for the communities, how they've pulled together, how they help each other and call each other. Dave sends me texts and communications between the people of his area all the time, how they're talking about where the fire is, how to move stock and who needs water, etc. It's an example of what rural folks do under pressure. And I'm grateful to have 1 foot in rural and 1 foot in urban. And at least I had a foot in rural. Got singed. But thank you, Governor, for allowing us to work together. Thank you very much to Reggie and Senator Rios for your help on an issue where we can come together and for a common goal with the people who aren't Republicans or Democrats. They're just our friends and people. So thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate it. Now I'd like to introduce Senator Sina Kerr, who's been a leader on this. She sponsored the legislation and countless other issues in our state. I want to thank her for the sponsorship of this bill. And Senator, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Governor. We all love Arizona. I love Arizona. And being one of those whose lifelong career has been working with natural resources, and as chair of our Senate Natural Resource, Energy, and Water Committee, I know how vital it is to invest resources that prevent and combat wildfires. We have invested millions through the years to prevent these catastrophic wildfires and the damages, but as we're seeing this year with the Mescal, the Telegraph, and numerous other fires, it hasn't been enough. I was eager and honored to sponsor the legislation in the Senate, which passed with a lot of bipartisan support. It will give our rural communities and their residents the support they need to overcome the damage from these wildfires. As you know, this is only the front side of the problem. Our communities still face potential devastation after the fires, with flooding and mudslides from the quickly approaching monsoon. I truly believe these resources we're providing today will help Arizonans get through that part as well. I look forward to partnering with my colleagues on additional resources in the coming years and having continued bipartisan success, because wildfires don't care which party you belong to. My heartfelt prayers to all of our wildland firefighters for their safety and success as they courageously protect life and property, and for the ones who have suffered loss and those who remain in harm's way. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Can I have my comments there? No. In terms of the run of show? We were going to wrap this up quickly. Thank you, Senator. And now I'd like to turn the floor over to Senate Minority Leader Rebecca Rios. Senator Rios has been a real leader in making this a bipartisan issue, and I'm grateful for that. Please, Senator Rios.
Thank you, Governor. These fires have been really disastrous for Arizonans. There's no other way to say it. We are grateful to the first responders and incarcerated volunteer firefighters who are risking their health and safety fighting and suppressing these fires. Our hearts do go out to the families experiencing this devastation from the fires. Many of the areas are in my hometown, and so I'm very grateful for the response by the legislature. But many of our fellow Arizonans have been driven from their homes and have not yet been able to return. Many of them have lost their homes entirely. Unfortunately, Arizona remains in a decades-long drought and is experiencing more extreme heat. These extreme wildfires are likely not going away anytime in our lifetimes. There is no question that there was an enormous need to dedicate as many resources as possible to fight the currently active wildfires, as well as to prevent future ones from occurring. I applaud the Governor for calling the special session to address the extraordinary wildfire season. This was clearly a major issue that needed immediate attention, and I'm grateful for Governor Ducey's action in bringing bipartisan leadership to work together to address this critical need. As has been mentioned, protecting Arizonans is not a partisan issue, so I'm very glad we were able to quickly come together and agree on this investment. I look forward to continuing to work together on issues that are important to Arizonans. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. And finally, I'd like to introduce House Minority Leader Reginald Boulding. Representative Boulding has also been a partner on this. We had a great meeting last week. I'm very appreciative for his input and his support. Representative, please.
Thank you, Governor. It's an honor to be here today with leaders from both parties and from all around the state to send a clear message that those impacted by wildfires, help is on the way. When we come together like this, as we did on opioids and drought contingency, I'm always think, what it would be if we can do this more often. I want to thank the brave men and women on the fire crews who, as we speak, are working in extreme, difficult, and dangerous conditions to contain this disaster and save lives and property. I also want to acknowledge the members of our caucus who worked on short notice to improve this bill. particularly Representative Andres Cano, our ranking member on Natural Resources, Energy, and Water Committee. I also hope this bipartisan approach in this effort can serve as a wake-up call that climate change is real, that it's near-term and long-term threat to our public health, safety, and prosperity as a state. We must do what we are doing today to react to this emergency, but we must also do everything in our power to mitigate the crisis for future generations. And we must do that together. Thank you again, Governor Ducey, my colleagues in both the Republican caucus, and our caucus stands ready to work and ready to move forward. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Representative. I really appreciate that. Now I want to introduce Gila County Supervisor Steve Christensen. Steve, could you talk a little bit about how this legislation will impact your community?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Governor, for having me speak. I don't really feel like I need to speak today, but I will. Gila County is on fire right now. We've experienced a lot of fires over the years. And this legislation is going to be very helpful to prevent fires, future fires, create borders and boundaries around our communities, and also mitigate post-fire issues, which are sometimes worse than the fire themselves. So I do want to reiterate, too, how thankful I am for the firefighters. The firefighting community, all of it together, works tirelessly, bravely. They're very courageous, and our prayers go out to them, and we're very grateful for their service. And I'd also like to thank you, Governor, for calling this special session, and on behalf of Gila County and rural Arizona. The leadership in Gila County, our Chairman Tim Humphrey and Supervisor Woody Klein, and also our County Manager James Benlove, say thank you. And thank you for being an advocate for Arizona and rural Arizona. And I'd also like to extend my thanks to the legislature and their willingness to work in a bipartisan way swiftly. Our county is still on fire, and here we have a bill that has gone through very swiftly and is very necessary, and we really do appreciate that. All of the residents of Gila County appreciate that. And I don't want to be remiss and leave out the fact that the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management, as well as DEMA, are agencies that are going to be working with us. I look forward to working with them in helping recover through these fires that are going to continue. They're just not going to ever be gone, but we can certainly help improve the situation over time. And so we're grateful for the willingness of them to work. So when difficulties come, and they undoubtedly have, we find grace in knowing and having friends like you. And so thank you, Governor, once again.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you very much, Supervisor. This is certainly another step in the right direction in protecting our communities. Now, there's always going to be more work to be done, and all the leaders that came to the podium touched on that. I'm optimistic that this legislature can work together to find solutions to the challenges that we face today and the challenges that we will face in the future. And with that, let's sign this bill into law so we can protect our communities. This puts us another step closer in protecting our communities around the state of Arizona. Thank you to all of our legislature for this successful